The whole toilet thing is probably one of the most common questions people always have. Where do you go to the loo if you're not on mains drains? I guess this is the answer. The million-dollar question, how much did it all cost? Yeah, come inside, have a look.
Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're meeting up with Ollie, who's living in an awesome tiny house.
It's such an impressive build and it looks so cool on the inside, so definitely stick around for the tour. And we hope you enjoy the video. Let us know in the comments what you think. Back to it.
Yeah, my name's Ollie and I live in South Dorset, sort of where I was born and raised. After many years of travelling, I came back here. It's always been a place very special to me. This is my home. It's a 25 foot by 8 foot tiny home that I built probably 4 years ago now. For me, like, moving into a tiny home and living off grid was kind of a slow burner, I guess. I sort of started traveling when I was 20. And then through just years of living on the road, surfing, traveling around, I sort of struggled with the notion of giving someone else, probably realistically now in England, £10,000 a year that I'd never see again. Too often, like, be living somewhere I didn't really want to live, treading on eggshells, just constantly watching and feeling like I was sort of beholden to someone else. So I thought, you know, instead of giving someone 10 grand, why don't I put that into building my own home? But also it gives me a lot of freedom for me, Tala the dog, and it also just suits my lifestyle. The more you simplify stuff, the less stress you have, the less responsibilities you have, and I don't know, I guess it just gives you more peace and more time to do what you want to do and more freedom, you know, something I've never wanted to relent. And I don't think anyone's happier, you know, the more they have, the more possessions they have. You know, I don't have a TV in there, and it's not a self-righteous thing or a gesture or a sort of virtue signal, but it's more assigning the time to what I want to do, be it reading, surfing, hiking, whatever. And having this incredibly simple life where I can clean the whole place top to bottom in 20 minutes, you know, only got enough plates, pots and pans for me and a couple of mates. I just do have a lot more free time because of it. Okay, this is the land. This is, I think it's 2.9 acres in South Dorset. It's divided into two halves with a river that runs through the middle. This side is predominantly for gardening, food, or growing food. The big pines are here purely for aesthetics, and they're just lovely trees. Steadily every year this woodland keeps growing and is filling in with a variety of sort of native trees, which is kind of cool. And then coming up there's sort of a selection of fruit and nut trees. So there's apples, cherries, various types of hazelnut. What else is in here? I think there's a pear tree. There's no chemicals on the land at all. There's never been any sort of pesticides or anything like that. So everything that comes out of my kitchen vegetable-wise goes onto the compost here, straight into the garden. So yeah, this is sort of more like the orchard. So you've got lots of varieties of traditional apple trees, as I was saying, fruit and nuts. Here's the veggie patch. Currants, rhubarb, strawberries. Probably late June to December, there's a constant supply of food from the garden. I guess, like, the whole toilet thing is probably one of the most common questions people always have. Where do you go to the loo if you're not on mains drains? I think it's real weird. Like, how many times have you been into a house with some people you barely know and there's a toilet next to the kitchen and you really need the loo and you're expected to go to the toilet right next to people having dinner? I'm not down with that. And if you go back to like the Victorian times, they all had privies and, you know, outdoor toilets. So I guess this is the answer. Here it is. As you can see, it's on stilts. This is like a composting loo. So there's two different composts. There's the compost for the vegetables, compost for human waste. And everyone sort of goes, what, you compost human waste? But it's actually pretty common, and they do spread a lot of human waste on farms these days, and it's not treated. But 2 years of this decomposing mixed with sawdust, and it's fantastic manure, basically. Really good compost. So it's got a vessel, if you will, or collection thing, and it basically sits in there, mix it with sawdust, and yeah, it just composts basically. And there's quite a nice view as well, you know, to relax you into your morning routine. Yeah, so all my water comes from rainwater. It's all collected from the tin roof, goes into 2 cubic metre IBC tanks. There's 2,000 litres of it. A lot of people ask, oh, is it all right to drink rainwater? In 4 years of drinking it, it's only got the most basic particulate filter. I haven't had a single problem. This is Tala, who sort of cohabits with me. She's a bit grumpy at the moment because she's got company today. She's very content. She has a lot of freedom here and plenty of space to roam, dig, roll, all the normal doggy things. I acquired through working for a friend an I4 Williams plant trailer, so a 3.5 ton rated trailer, twin axle, 10 foot by 5 foot. So I welded on extensions front and back and then added an A-frame extension at the front to maximise the space over the front there. The decking here is on hinges and detaches if you need to move it, so it's still mobile.
Alright guys, so it wouldn't be possible to continue these videos without the support of our paid partners, and today, that's Dreo.
And this is the Dreo Nomad 1S Smart Tower Fan. And it's packed with loads of cool features, including voice control that can be used through Alexa or Google Home. Personally, I like to control it on the app using the auto feature mode, which uses sensors to adapt the fan speed to the room temperature, as well as angles and fan modes.
So what I like about this fan is the design, and as you can see, compared to an old ugly fan like this, the sleek finish of the Dreo is much nicer to have around your house.
So the most important thing for me is how quiet it is, because I can't sleep with any noise and I can't sleep when I'm too hot, so this solves both the problems. Listen to how quiet this is compared to this fan on the same lowest setting.
So this fan is something that can be used anywhere in the house because it's lightweight and portable, meaning you can move it anywhere without a problem. It also has 4 high airflow speeds and 90-degree oscillation, meaning you can stick it in the corner of the room and you can feel the far-reaching winds wherever you are.
You'll find a link to the Dreo Tower Fan in the description below. Use code Liveration for an extra $10 discount on the Dreo site. Or you can get it on Amazon with the link below. And with that, back to the video.
The decking here is on hinges and detaches if you need to move it, so it's still mobile. It's scary, but it is mobile. You can tow it, and I have towed it. And then basically coming up, I added 2 lofts. The main bedroom, the master bedroom's at that end, which is my one. 6 foot of headroom to the apex of the roof. And then this is the sort of second bedroom / reading room. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's one space, open plan. And then on the side, this is the shower room. So again, this is a trailer chassis that I've extended. This is all reclaimed logs from the squashed cabin across the way.
But there's no door, do you just shower with no
I don't know, man. I don't want people turning up in the hedgerows. I'll leave that to your imagination, I'll say. I often sit here. Tala sleeps here in general, between there and inside. And yeah, it's just the best place to come and have your morning coffee. Yeah, so the whole thing is self-contained. It has a trio of lead-acid leisure batteries, 750 watts of solar domestic panels, and because the whole thing is built around a 12-volt, very efficient architecture, it's never been a problem. It's an odd one. When you buy and spec a solar system, you sort of look at it and you think, oh, it's going to cost me £2,000 or whatever it may cost, but you only pay that bill once, really. Unlike renting, where you just constantly hemorrhage money to utility companies. With this, you buy it and you buy it once and then it's yours. I've always had a fascination with cabins and things like that. They breathe well, they're warm, they have a fantastic smell, they're light and homely. The paint is a very traditional Swedish paint you see on, well, not just Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, called Falu Rodfag. It's a very, very sustainable sort of treatment for wood. And you see cabins in Scandinavia that are 400 years old and all they've ever had is this painted on them every few years. And this around here is sort of the utility side of things, I guess. Yeah, the shower, on-demand hot water in there is the water pump, so it's got a pressurised system. And then in here lives the diesel heater, which supplies all the heating. It's done many years of hard work, hasn't missed a beat, and as everyone knows, they're no more than 100 quid these days in general. I think it probably costs me in the depths of winter about £5 a week. And that's running it pretty relentlessly. Talking £1 a day to have heating in the depths of winter. One thing I've really noticed with utility companies not having any caps on the bills they charge people and stuff is seeing stress in other people, because I'm sort of out of it, to be fair, you know. It doesn't make any difference if the electricity goes up 400% to me because it comes from the sun, you know. It doesn't make any odds. But seeing that stress in other people and their concern that they can't afford their utility bills and they can't afford Christmas and stuff like that makes me acutely aware that, one, I'm very fortunate to be able to live like this, but also the stresses it causes people, you know. It's really sad. So many friends are just so stressed with bills every month. The million-dollar question, how much did it all cost? I think ultimately it's cost about 10 grand. So much of it, like I said, is either recycled or repurposed. The base is a plant trailer, which I did 4 days work for a friend for, and he kindly gave me, which is not representational of what it's worth. He's just a damn good guy. If you were to buy everything new, you'd probably be looking at 25 grand in materials, realistically. But it's whether you have the time to sort of acquire the parts. Like the oak is a solid oak door, paid nothing for, was being thrown out because the bottom 4 inches were rotten. I don't think the land, this one, isn't a good representation. So basically my mum used her inheritance to buy it. She's now in her 70s. It's an awful lot for her to look after. She bought this at auction 8 years ago, and it was, I think it was 86 grand, which is fucking loads. Like agricultural land used to be about 10,000 an acre, used to be. Now it's easily triple that, you know. Yeah, come inside, have a look. The tiny home itself is all made from 40mm box section steel. The shape sort of came about of utilising the trailer, so I've always seen the drawbar area as a bit of a dead space with trailers. Quite often people will just square them off there. So I added on this little extension here, which has sort of become my chill out area / reading nook / I don't know, loungy place. All of this stuff is 12 volt DC, so everything in here runs directly off the system without inverters, without wastage basically. The kitchen was just meant to be temporary. I built it in a few days, hurriedly before Christmas on the first year we were in here. These are the few of the bits that were brand new. The cooker was brand new. The slate was kindly donated to me by a guy that fits fireplaces and wood burners. So these are all offcuts, another offcut of slate. The little stand for the water bottle there. There's another ring of a tree that I felled. And yeah, just a sort of basic gas cooker. It's one of the things that's hardest, is anything that makes heat is very tricky when you're just trying to run off electricity. This is the solar charge controller. It's very efficient. And yeah, I don't even think twice about it, which I guess is a sign of a successful system, that you don't even worry or think to even look at it. It just functions, you know. Generic Chinese diesel heater control, which is brilliant. This is where I keep most of my clothing, and by having a small space you don't accumulate loads of crap. These are cheese boxes. I just sort of trim them down to fit the profile of the tiny home, and I chuck my clothes in there. I don't know, got a bit of character too. If you don't have loads of space to fill with crap, you don't fill it with crap, you know. And you get to the point where someone goes, oh, do you want this? And you go, no, I don't have space and I don't need it. I've got everything I need in here, really. There is a slight caveat. I have 12 surfboards and they live at the workshop because, yeah, they won't fit in here. This is a champagne crate from when I was living in Sweden. And I trimmed it down to fit my records. This is, I don't know, one of my favourite things, I think, my record collection. It's a nice way, I guess it kind of ties in with the ethos of all of this. You sort of buy these and then you have them forever. You know, it's like in a society that's very disposable, where you download a song and delete it 6 months later. You don't get the album art, you know. You don't have a physical thing that you'll keep forever. The staircase, I guess, is probably one of the things that like everyone focuses on when they come in here. This is a piece of Lawson cypress. It's all one piece, so it's all the same trunk of the same tree. So yeah, these are just rounds, split into half rounds and then notched in. Very hard. It was a labour intensive task, but it's a very special sort of focal point I love the way you can see it through the window as well from outside. Everyone notices it. So this is the main bedroom. I've always liked, maybe it's from years in vans, but I've always loved small confined spaces for sleeping. The bed I made, it's very low profile but has lots of ventilation underneath. And it's just very simple, free of distractions in there. There's no phone signal whatsoever up here. I have my books, a couple of reading lights, handmade curtains, I made those. That wasn't very easy. I think it's really nice to have possessions that sort of have a story or you've made. They're not just things that you have no attachment to that you throw away. So I think almost everything in here has some sort of story. The secret fold-down table that you can sit 4 people around. This bench seat moves, it's not fastened down, it's also storage. And I've had loads of friends over, this is where we sort of get the table out and all have dinner. Yeah, I love this part. I mean, I often sit in the corner there in the morning having my coffee, Tala warming my feet, looking out of these windows, appreciating it. I think that's important, you know, not to get complacent with it or take it for granted. It's fantastic and it's a very lovely space to be. Originally this was open and I wasn't quite sure what to do with this space, and then I added in the floor and the extension, and it's meant to be sort of reading room. Do I go up there? Not very often, to be honest. A few friends have crashed up there, but basically you can go up here to my library. Again, yeah, there's lots of old wine and port crates, all my books and artifacts from around the world. It's like such a lovely viewpoint from up here. Yeah, I would say, like, to me, and I'm not saying this applies to everyone, but actively choosing to not have a TV, there's not really any phone signal in there. It's a big Faraday cage, which was purely by chance, not by design. But I've really found the more I've sort of simplified things and removed myself from technology, and it's not that I'm a Luddite or anything like that. My friends may disagree with that statement, but I've just found much more happiness in it, you know? Much more peace in just having all you need, very simple life. You know, you don't need to constantly acquire things, you don't need to fill up a bigger space. I don't think it really brings anyone happiness. And I think, to me, it wasn't like a light bulb moment. It just was years of traveling in vans and surfing, and I really realized what made me happy. And it definitely wasn't giving all my wages to buying more clothes or a newer car, you know. It was experience and time, having time to hike with my dog, to surf, to climb mountains. And yeah, I think that is the most valuable thing. And books, and music, and good food. That's pretty much it. That's all you need. Yeah. Basically, I have my own company with a good friend, and it's very much in the same line as this. We convert vehicles. We build adventure vehicles and trailers, and hopefully we'll build tiny homes. That's always been a dream, and it's not about profiteering from it, you know. I really believe in younger people being able to buy a home for an attainable amount they can save and own it outright. And then if people get together and you can buy up pockets of land, then you can live like this, you know, and you can escape the system. And there, you know, there's hurdles along the way. That there's the stigma attached to living off grid, that you're not contributing and stuff like that. But I think that's changing, you know, as the younger generation does it more and more, as people's perception changes that we're not all crusties, you know. Hopefully it will change. And yeah, it's something I firmly believe in. So to come full circle, I saw a lot of the shepherd's hut thing going on, and then companies charging 50, 60 grand for something that became a novelty to put in the bottom of a garden, maybe put on Airbnb. And it's the opposite of what this should be about, you know. It should be affordable, it should be actually habitable, livable, comfortable, and not just an accessory. It's interesting because I come across a hell of a lot of people that are intrigued and also interested, and you hear it so much. I'd love to get out of this rat race. I'd love to get out of this sort of cycle I'm stuck in. It's not easy finding land, everyone knows that, and it's not easy finding land that isn't policed, for want of a better word, from neighbours that don't want you there, or local communities or the council. But if people get together the more you can get, the easier it is. And there are little communities, especially in West Wales, the Highlands of Scotland, that are living like this and are making a change. It's so hard to rent. It's so expensive to rent that it's becoming so common now that normal people are seeking out living differently, you know, be it in vans, buses, boats, tiny homes, whatever. Yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed this, and maybe it gives, hopefully, some people some inspiration to do the same. If people want to, I guess, see more of an insight into what I do day to day, be it what we make at work and the surfing and all the other adventures, have a look at Transferic on Instagram. We make a lot of stuff from locally sourced materials, sustainably, especially aimed at this sort of lifestyle.
Alright guys, thanks again for tuning in there, and a big thanks to Ollie for sharing everything with us and showing us around.
Make sure to check them out on all the socials. The links will all be down below. And we hope you enjoy the video. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you in the next one.